Hi, I hope you're ready for another idea to use some window envelopes. This one is similar to something I did a while back, which is this coin envelope style with the window there. But for this one, you keep both pieces when you cut this. You'll have two flaps up here. And I have this piece to show you. It's like this, that it has the flap in the front and the back. And I got this idea. This is a blister pack of some supplements that I take. And I had finished it up the other day, and I was looking at this shape, and I thought, that would make a cute tag. And then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, I could make it into a window envelope pocket. So that's what we're going to do today. And I hope you like the idea. I'm going to set these aside for a minute. And this one, I like this background pattern on that, so I thought we'd use that. I have a couple of others there. For this, I used a die and cut this, and I'm going to show you how I did that in a little bit. But I wanted to show you another way to do it, which is just use something round. This happens to be an old vintage antique. I'm not sure how old it is. It was my mother's, and I think it belonged to my grandmother, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's here because I like it. It's old. So what I did is I marked how far up where I want to cut this off. And I want the top to be rounded. So I just placed this round shape on the envelope, and where it comes together with the side here on each side, where it touches, is where I'm going to cut it off. And I hope that it's straight. We'll see when I draw the pencil line around it. So we're just going to go around like that. And let's see, I'm going to just look if that looks pretty even there. It's not quite even, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off with my scissors. And I don't know, I'm not real confident with my scissors sometimes about cutting straight, but they say if you look where you're going instead of where you're cutting, you have a better chance of getting it on the line. So here we go. We're going to try this. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You know, nothing in the junk journal world has to be absolutely perfect. If it was, we'd all be in trouble. I'd be in trouble. I won't speak for you. Okay. And this envelope is about 4 inches, just an eighth of an inch wider than 4 inches. See, I didn't get exactly on that line, but it doesn't look too bad, I don't think. I think I may need to cut this down just a tiny bit right here so that it's even. Okay. So what I did for this is I folded down this part. Now this has got that plastic on it, which I don't really like the way that looks. I might not go all the way down with that, or I could put something over that. I'll just fold it there and plan on doing something else there, maybe a doily or something. And this right here, that little white line there, I don't want that showing through my window there. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just cut that off on that edge right there. And it will hopefully show the pattern on the flap instead of this pattern. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And I'm going to use glue stick. I'm using some Elmer's washable glue stick this time just because my other glue stick ran out and I haven't started a new one yet. And I thought, well, I've got these, I'll just use them. I think they're probably strong enough to hold this. Okay, so that gives us that. And then, as I said, I fold this down and keep this piece up. That doesn't look real pretty there. I may need to. I found that I could match up the pattern on that and patch things, and it works pretty well. So we'll try that since we don't like the way that looks. See if I can do it this time. Since I'm doing it on camera, it probably won't work. Isn't that the way it usually goes? Okay, so it just needs to match up those little squares like that. So that will fit on there. And I don't think it'll be too noticeable. So I'm going to put some glue on that and reposition it there. Now that I know that it's going to work with the other pattern. I'm sorry that you're probably hearing our air conditioner running, but it's supposed to be 102 today, and it may have made it already. So our air conditioner is trying to keep up with the heat, but it's just too hot not to have it on. Okay, it's a little fiddly to get this positioned, but you just need to straighten it up where the lines match up. And when you put your tag in there, it's going to cover that up anyway, so it won't show too much. Just trim that off. So that is the basic idea. And I have some others. I'm going to put this one aside and show you some that I've worked on. You don't have to make it a circle either. I mean, that's where I started, but you could go to another shape. And on this one, I used just a die I got at Walmart. I always check the clearance aisle, and I find some crafting things over there sometimes. I used this square one, and I just put it on here and just cut down to there. And I'm going to show you how I did that in a little bit here. I found another way. I used to just guess where to stop, and I found another way somebody showed on one of their videos, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, but it works really well. So anyway, this just needs to be cut right here like that. And there is that problem again. So let's see if we can end up with a, hopefully we'll cover that up. And this just probably needs to be up here at the top, so I'll just cut here. Like that. This one's kind of ragged, so it would be best to glue it down on a page. And there's also that. I don't know if I can get in there and get that off of there or not. We'll try. It's kind of hard to see it. And it's also kind of hard to do it. I'll probably edit this where it looks so easy. It just happened. Here we go. Okay, that's kind of okay. I kind of messed up that window while I was doing that. You could always take the envelope apart and glue it back together. It would probably be the easiest way to do that. So anyway, so that's one thing you can do. You can cover up any of this that you want to cover it up. You can decorate it any way you want to. I used various things on the ones I did, which I'll show you in a second here. I've got some in progress ones that need just a little bit more done to them. I think even the glue is kind of melting today. So this one, you would either want to cover this back up probably, or glue it down to a page, which you could do. And then just put a tag or whatever in this. This is from this pack. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It's Paper Studio, and it's various travel themed things. Die cuts. It has stamps and postcards and things. And this one I think is supposed to be a postcard, but it's kind of small for an actual postcard. But it fits nicely in this window. And like that. So that's the basic idea. And let me show you the other ones I've done. This one, I made the tag that goes in it. And I used a scalloped die on it. I used this set of dies. I can't remember which one I used. I think I used this one. Yes, that's the one I used. And also cut this to kind of match that. And use some of the paper. This is from a different envelope. It's slightly different, but I like the way it looked. And then a couple of those Hobby Lobby, these stickabilities, die cut stickers. And they're all various flower colors, shapes. So on this one, I need to glue this side down and put the button on here. And I think this is pretty much done. I might ink that. I don't know. What I wanted to do was have, since I like that pattern, I wanted to have that on the card so it still showed through, but still had some flowers back there. So that's why I did it the way I did. And you just line that up with the scallops at the top, like that. I have this little piece of fabric, and I thought I'd put it on here and glue this button down. And I just took some embroidery thread and made an X in the center of it there and tied it. Just one tie. And I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac and just glue this down. Just put some right there. Just kind of want something behind that button so it looks a little special. And since it has the thread there, that will hold it with the Fabri-Tac, I think. We can hope anyway. And I don't know, I may leave those ends for now. So this one, I folded a piece of paper to put inside. I used a ruler and tore the top. It's just, you know, plain. I thought about folding it back to make this kind of corner with it, but it wasn't working out. So I just went with the straight, and I think that looks cute there. And I have this corner folded down, and I took a piece of this paper that's also cut from that, and I'm going to glue it here to cover up where this brad comes through and still have a little bit of the edge showing, just decorative. And then I've got a magnet behind here that I need to put a piece of tape on to hold it in place. But that way, this is a little secret journaling spot there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to glue it here. I'm going to put glue right across there and up here. And I may put some glue around that just to kind of hold it in place too. Okay, so now we just kind of need to get it in the right position. And it needs to come up this way just a bit. Like that. This magnet I have back here is one of these. It's one of these rare earth magnets. I got this set at Harbor Freight, but you can order them on Amazon whole. This is 10. You can order a whole bunch more. If you really get into it and like it a lot, you can just stock up on them. So you pay less for them. I think I paid maybe almost $3 for that. I can't remember now. It's been a while. And I'm going to put some tape on the back of that. And I guess I'll use washi tape, but I'm going to put some extra glue on it because I don't want it moving. And it doesn't really matter because it's not going to be seen what is back there. This was my experiment. I was cleaning out some of my old, almost empty glue sticks and kind of smooshed it back in this one. And it worked out great, except it's so soft now you can't use it. So I kind of have to just do that, put my hand in there, and put it in there and just kind of move it around a little bit. Okay, that's just down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, probably not, but it's mainly I'm just putting that on there to keep it in place and also to make the paper slide over it instead of getting caught on it. And hopefully that will work. And then you have this little hidden spot. And this is the spare parts, and it has letters in it. And I'm going to put an S on there because I'm planning to use this in my Uncle Rip's journal. And I used a stamp that made his name R.D. Swisher. So it's going to be an S for Swisher. If I can get it out of there. There we go. just put it right in there. Almost straight. There we go. So that is that one. I think that turned out cute, and I like the way that shows around the edge of that. You could write in white ink on this if you wanted to have something showing through or whatever. And on the back, I patched that corner because when I cut it, it was messed up. And so I just matched up that design back there and glued it, taped it down. And I would cover this up on the back if I weren't going to glue it down on the page. So if you plan to glue it down, you can just leave the back as is, or if you're going to have it as a floating pocket, or use it that way, just tucked into the book, you would want to have it more secure. So that is that one. And then also, you don't have to use, if you're really tired of the window envelopes, or you've used them all up, heaven forbid. I'm kidding. You don't have to use a window envelope to make it. This one, I just used this was an 8x8 piece of scrapbooking paper. And what I did is I folded it over. Well, let me show you how I did it. This is a 12x12 sheet of scrapbooking paper. I used 8x8 on this, but 12x12 will work too. What I did is I just cut it off at whatever height I wanted it to be, and I think it was, let's see what it was. It was about 7.5 inches, I believe. I'm just going to tear this because that's easier. I could use a knife and cut it, but I am going to stand up so I can see if I have it straight or not. Okay. All right, there we go. And since this page is directional, you want to be sure and have the direction in the right, going the right way before you finish it up. I took my paper cutter. I just used this groove, and I wanted to have 3.5 inches. And I have this stylus that I just put in here and just, actually it works best when you do this because that's out of the way then. And just put the score on there. And then another 3.5. Whoops. I have to stay in the groove or it doesn't work too well. And then I wanted about 1/2 inch on this, so I just put that like that. And then I wanted 1/2 inch across the bottom, but I'm going to cut this off first. I'm just going to cut this with my scissors on that score. It doesn't have to be too straight because that's going to be glued underneath. And then I want 1/2 inch on this. So I just come over this. The smaller end seems to work better on this. Okay. And I like to just cut this corner off across there and this one and this top one. Okay, then you just fold the bottom up. Oh, we're not going to need all of these pieces, so I'm going to cut that off also. This one, we don't need that. And I'm going to make that at an angle like that. I cut that a little too short, but I think it'll be okay. All right, so what you do is you fold the bottom up and you fold the side in like that. And fold that and this up. And then we're going to put glue on these two edges here. Just up and down. And across here. Okay. And And you just fold this across to your side there. And you've got a pocket. And then you can cut the top however you want to cut it. Since this is kind of a masculine design, this is this Tim Holtz set, and it's called Stacked Decal is what it's called. And it's the same one that I used. I used it on this one. One other thing I want to say about those magnets is there is a warning on them about people with pacemakers should consult their physician before use. So there's a consideration on that. And don't swallow them, obviously, but they warn about that as well. I think it's pretty serious if kids swallow those. Okay, I'm going to take this one. And I think I'll go ahead and show you. I could make it pointed like that. Or I could make it have kind of an asymmetrical shape, which I think might be kind of fun. Or I could do it on this side where we can keep that fleur-de-lis there. I think I'll do it about like that. And I'm going to put a little bit of tape on there so that it doesn't shift on me. I think these cupcakes on this washi tape is cute, but I don't hardly ever have a use for them, so I've been using it for other purposes. Okay, let me grab my Big Shot machine and I'll show you how I did this. This is the platform, which brings it up to the right height. And then this is a thin die adapter, which you need for these thin dies. And then my two very worn, they call these pads, I think of them as plates, but anyway. So it goes there. And then you put your item on. And what you do is instead of covering the whole thing with your plate, what you do is you just put the plate on. Let's see, I'll do it this way. It needs to go through. And you just want the plate to come as far down as where you want it to cut. So if you, that's right in there where that cuts on that. So that's where you want it to go to. But see, what you're doing is you're stopping the plate where you want it to cut, the last place that you want it to cut, so that when it goes through the machine, there's not that pressure on the die anymore. And it will, see, that's when it goes over the edge there. And I'm just going to go back this way. I wish I could remember who was demonstrating this, and I would give her a shout out, but I don't remember who it was. I think it was somebody who was associated with Sizzix or scrapbook.com or something like that. It was on YouTube. So now I'm going to take this off. That tape was kind of sticky. Sometimes it's better to use really tape that's not very good. Doesn't stick too well, or at least have it on the part that you're going to get rid of anyway. So, see, it's still a little bit attached here, so you just take your scissors and just clip that off on both sides like that. And then you have this part you can fold down and have a little place like that. And another idea for this is in your journal. This is my crazy art journal, but it will have a page here that I can show another idea to put this on. You could place it at the top of the page and fold this back over the page. Just fold it down to like that, and then just place it over the page and either glue it down on this side, or you could have that as a tuck spot and could stick something up under there, a card or whatever up under there. And then on this side, it could be, you could glue it down and have it be a tuck spot or a side pocket, or you still have your pocket up here that could go in. Or you could have it as a flip up so that you have writing space, hidden writing space underneath it. So I thought that was a fun alternative for it. Let me just show you a couple of others that I did. On this one, I also did that with this die. My friend gave me these. I think she ordered these on Amazon. But I used one of these. I think it was this one. These all wanted to come out. Yes, that's the one I used. And I just did the same thing. I put it on the envelope and placed the plate here and ran it through. You want the plate to end where you want to stop cutting. And you run it through the machine, and then you have this. And sometimes it's not exactly where it's supposed to be, but you usually can get it where you can fold it or do something to make it work. So that is how that is done. I was going to finish this one up. I decided that this is one I made like what I just showed you with the folded up paper. You can also fold the paper, so you have a long strip this way. You can also fold the paper in half this way and do the same thing with cutting off the side, like leave a ½ inch to fold it in. And however you want to finish the top. And you'll have, this one's slightly shorter because 12 inches, you only have 6 inches to work with. But you still have a cute little pocket. And this is good if you don't care if it's directional or not. I mean, you could do that. You might want it to be that way, but if you want it to be this way, you'd need to have the other strip off the paper. I'm just going to finish this one up. And what I did on this, I haven't cut the corners on this one, and I thought that was cute about the original packaging, so I'm just going to round these corners. And so there's the shape that I was talking about from the packaging. One thing about the corners being rounded, Kathleen Mowers pointed this out, is that it makes it go in without having that sharp edge to catch on anything. So that's a bonus on that. I thought I'd just put a piece of this cheesecloth on here. I may just let that hang off the edge down there. I was trying to decide if I had a little scrap from this, and I was trying to decide if I wanted the round one to go on there, which, I mean, you could argue that the shapes match, but I decided that I'd rather have the square one. And I cut this one, and it was just kind of like where that was cut, it didn't quite cover it. So I decided to put the flower over the top of that and just finish it off that way. I'm going to take part of that off and kind of fringe it up a little bit there. Okay. And I'm probably going to glue that down. You could leave it up or do whatever, however you wanted to finish that. So just whatever works, however you like it. And I want to be sure and put that cut part at the top where I can hide it with the flower. Or else I'll have to change my design and put the flower at the bottom. Okay. This is just a little flower off of, like, those little bushes you get at Walmart or somewhere that have small flowers on them. And I just pulled this one off to use. And what I'm going to do is put a pearly thing in the middle of it. You could put a pearl, but I have these from Dollar Tree, and I thought the purple would be pretty on there, so I'm going to do that. I think I need to put a little bit of glue on that too, though. I don't know how gluey their stickers are. Okay, just put that in the center if it won't stick to my finger. I think I ended up with all the glue on me and very little on the sticker, obviously. I'll try that again. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to kind of fringe that up there too. Make it a little bit more ragged. And I could put one of these up here. I'm just going to glue that down. Maybe just a little bit in the middle to hold it. I might want to stick a card or something up under there somehow. I think it's still calling for a little thing there, so I'm going to put one on. Let's see if I got a knife here. I like to stick it on the end of the knife so I can get a better idea of it, if it is in the center or not. I think that looks pretty good. So there we go. Then I've got this one that I also did. On this one, I used the teacup and cut the outside, this part, and then I used a ball jar lid and cut these two because they needed to be smaller and go in. And I made them slightly different sizes. I'm going to go ahead and round those corners too. And you could decorate those too as much as you wanted to. Put a word in the corner or a number, whatever. Fleur-de-lis. I may put a fleur-de-lis on this one. This is a stamp I got in a set on eBay, and it's a fancy fleur-de-lis. I think I'll stamp that on the lighter colored one. And I hope I don't mess it up. What I did here is I took a stencil that I have. I got it at Walmart a long time ago, and it has various geometric shapes on it. And I just used it in some, what did I use? Speckled egg, Distress Ink speckled egg, and stenciled the squares on there just for a little interest on that. So that's how that turned out. And then lined these up together. I think it'll be fine in there, like that. And then I have this piece of burlap, and I stamped that same fleur-de-lis. Since this has fleur-de-lis on it, I decided I'd put this on here. And I'm going to glue this flap down a little bit here, just to keep it in place. And then I'm going to put this, let's see how I had that. I think I had it like that. Okay. Just going to glue it on and glue that on. About like that. And like that. I think that's in the middle pretty good. Okay, I think that's most of the ones that I wanted to show you. Some of these are not finished, like these are not finished. These are the ones I did with the paper. There's this one with the ruffle, and I put lace under here. And you could leave this where you could flip it up and right underneath that if you wanted to. You might want to put a cute little paper clip or something on there to hold it in place. But I like the way that looked. And this one that we made real quickly. Put a white card in there. And you could make it taller or whatever you wanted to do, or make it smaller. That's the one I showed about putting it over the edge of the page if you wanted to do that. And this is the one that I was saying it's similar because I used that same die when I cut that edge there. So all from the inspiration of a supplement package. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and got some ideas. Sorry I didn't get everything decorated, but think it gave you the idea of what you can do with some of them. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye.